You are now listening to the I Think I Love My Wife podcast. And this is your best friend's best friend, Chidozie Okafor, ready to take you on another journey. Are you with me? Because I'm ready. Let's get it. This episode is sponsored by Nello Effect, a coaching and consulting service that helps people turn mindfulness into action as they navigate the dating world as well as their relationships. Follow on Instagram at nello.effect and find more information in the episode description. Welcome to another episode of I Think I Love My Wife podcast. I'm back with these knuckleheads. And before we continue, I want to make sure that we do the round robin questions. I realized that we didn't do a toast last time. And so in this case, as I'm in the hot seat, I'll let you guys do a toast and we cheers it up and then get started. So who wants to do it?
All that stuff we talked about pre.
Yeah.
We
just gonna do a toast to good people, good times, good interactions, and good conversation. All right, there we go. There we go. All right, and love. All right.
So kick off the round robin. Who wants to start it off?
So we're gonna jump right in, right? You understand the idea of round robin? This was your creation.
Yep.
So let's not deviate from the rules of your creation.
I will follow the best of my ability.
All right, so let's start. Is it necessary for your wife to be your best friend?
I don't think it's necessary for your wife to be your best friend.
Okay. Is it necessary for her to be...
So by product, I don't think you have to be your best friend before you propose. Next question.
He's like, I didn't know these.
Boom.
That's fine.
We coming back to that too. All right.
We're going to come back. When you were dating, how would dating go?
It's an expectation question for pay.
Yeah, would you expect?
Listen, everybody.
We're gonna pay. Would you expect her to pay? Would y'all go Dutch? What was the expectation?
I would expect anybody that is vested in the process to at least offer to pay after the third day. Not that you have to, but just to show that you.
Anybody that is vested in the process.
If a woman, because usually the woman's not paying for the dates, so if a woman has been taken out at least 3 times, I would expect her by the third time to at least offer to pay.
So quick round robin follow up. Did Juliet pay on date 4?
I think she might have. I don't remember. I couldn't tell where we went on the reason why I say that is because we went out the first date and then she got COVID. And then after COVID,
you gave her COVID?
No, I didn't never got COVID. But there was a gap between our first date and our second date, so I couldn't tell you what we did after the.
Did you give her a Paxlovid?
No, but I did when she was sick. I sent her like a package because I didn't want to go over there because she had COVID. So I had somebody from Favor app is a great friend. Pick up some treats and send her package to Favor.
You ain't asked her to drink no bleach though or nothing like that.
No.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. Just making sure. All right.
So I'm gonna give her a little, alteration on this question.
Okay.
Priority, right? Your first child, Yaji.
So this
right,
is my child. Okay.
Or her.
That's easy. Her over the dog. Actually, a lot of things over the dog. He knows. My dog knows if he get hurt and it costs too much, more than it costs to get him. He knows what I'm gonna pick. Me and the dog has had that conversation.
Okay, it's a soft follow up. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
the original question.
I believe wife over children, and to the point that I want my kids to know that. Like I want in a loving, joking, but serious manner. I'm like, hey. I love you, my wife, like, Julia, this woman more than you. I want my kids to know, she is the priority.
Married men with kids, do y'all agree?
You said what?
Married men with kids, do y'all agree?
You guys agree to that?
I do.
Yeah. But I want to tell them that. I want my kids 100%. To know, listen, you little.
100%.
I love her way more than you, so you can go. I didn't think you.
Number 5, I didn't realize this was in my list of questions, but I'm here for it. I'm adjusting some words. Will the weddings, plural, be worth it?
I hope so. Because you said wedding, so we're gonna do a traditional. The plan is to do the traditional Nigerian wedding. The traditional Nigerian wedding.
Yeah.
There's a Igbo process that basically someone is now your wife after this process and party. We'll do that in October, and then the plan is to do a destination wedding in 2025 in South Africa. So we're trying to see what the budget looks like. But will it be worth it? I hope so. Most of the guys, I think the answers are varied, but we're trying to keep a good budget, so we'll see. I guess the answer is it depends on how many people show up to South Africa and who shows up. But yeah,
is there a poll when you post these episodes?
And I should do one.
We should put a poll at the bottom.
That's a good idea.
Should I get a gift if I go to South Africa?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question. I mean, I think it would be appreciated like any gift. However, I think the
the hosting party would understand. So I was like, we gotta answer.
Noted.
Especially for like something like that, because it's not like a cheap thing.
All right, we'll continue the round robins.
Man, I want to ask you the big ring versus big wedding, but it's too soon for that. So we're gonna have to move on to.
The answer is big ring.
The answer is big ring.
She got one.
Okay,
She got one.
but you're doing a couple big weddings though too.
Well, my really the Nigerian wedding is my parents' wedding.
Okay, all right.
Them. And I hope with the number of guests that we're gonna have and the way that the dollar is stronger than the South African rand, that we won't come out of pocket in a crazy amount. I mean, I think average I've heard most people spend, anywhere from like 40 to 60K on. And so I think we'll be somewhere in the middle of that.
Shout out to 10 years plus, boy. You know what I'm saying?
Inflation has a lot of space between now and in the teens. When we was in the teens, the 2010s and 11s and stuff. So yeah,
interest rates.
So yeah. So what's your next question?
Gotcha.
It's round robin. Yeah,
Joint account or separate account?
We did joint accounts. We put everything in our joint account.
Already?
Yeah, bro. We started life already. So we put everything. Hence, we started with joint accounts. We're this thing. What we're waiting on. So yeah, we have a joint account. We maintain our individual accounts, and we have a budget, and we know what's going what, and then we think going to where they need to go from there.
All right, I'm a poke on that. You said y'all maintain y'all's individual accounts. That mean everything ain't in joint accounts.
Everything goes to the joint account. That's it.
And then you move it over to the individual
we have
accounts.
We know we need to pay for it. We have our money that we get. She don't have to keep the money she gets in our joint account. She just puts it in her account.
Right. So the money you make on a direct deposit goes to the joint accounts, and then you shift it out to the
based off the budget that we agreed.
All right.
We have it. I've been saying that since I was 18 in Sabisa. And the MSC cafeteria. I've been saying I'm consistent.
Sabisa, for those that don't know, is a food area.
Food establishment.
Food establishment.
Which has been so what's the next one? This is supposed to be quick fire if you haven't heard the podcast.
All right. Are you fans of the in-laws? And ultimately, how close are you all?
I think we are growing because it's still new. I think her father passed away, but her mom, we have each other's numbers. I don't know that we're at the point of like hitting each other up, but we've spent time together. We're all going to New Orleans soon. That'll be the first time I spend more than one day with the whole family. Her sisters, we talk when they talk, so. When FaceTime, I'll come in and say hello.
Hey.
Yeah.
All right. True or false? Guys mature faster or later than women?
Is it faster or later? Which one?
They're the same one, but fool.
Guys mature. I think people mature the same rate. I don't think women mature faster than men.
You about to open that comment section?
We're gonna come back to that. Frequency of sex: all of the time, weekly, monthly, or every now and then?
I would say, when I wrote this question, I thought my answer was all the time. But
Welcome to the circle, baby.
But I think my answer really is weekly.
Like, that's what you want?
Yeah, that's what I would.
Okay.
And going into the next question, I know you're gonna ask what's the reality? I think it's less than weekly. But what I've realized is we don't have kids, but there'll be times where she wants to, and I'm tired. And every time I want to, and she's tired. And our schedule, we haven't got to I think when you're in
Y'all have an interesting schedule.
Yeah, we have an interesting schedule. And when you guys are married, I think you guys have your rhythm down. We're still building and figuring out what our rhythm is. And so I think, but you have kids now. But I think we're still trying to figure out what that looks like. But it's definitely not what it's not like her holding it back. It's like you know so much. You just be tired. I really just want to sleep. So that's it. But weekly, I think I'd be good.
Okay, so let's jump in the rest of the questions. Let's finish this thing.
Yep, moving slow.
So how much weekly alone time do you get with your wife?
A lot. I don't have no kids and nobody outside of podcast and work, a week together.
And so who runs the show? You or her?
She not running the show.
What did you say?
I run the show. No, I'm playing. I would say it's I don't run the show. They're talking about being a PC. I don't run the show. She does. So I definitely think that we're trying to figure that out.
We all know the answer. Bro.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyways, moving forward, what's more important?
She runs the show.
What's more important, to be respected or to be loved?
To be respected. I don't think you can. I think there's people that love people and still disrespect them, but I think if you always respect someone, then they will potentially feel loved.
Okay, fair. And the last one for the round robin. What's your wife's greatest attribute?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Fiance.
That's a good question. Let me call it whichever.
I'm just reading the question.
That's a good question. I think her greatest attribute is, well, I'll rephrase it. What I appreciate about her the most is I think she cares to be a good wife. Like, she cares about that. And so even when we have, tiffs and,
Treats.
tips. Stop being a jerk. Even when we have tips and stuff like that, I think she.
That was a good one.
No, even when we have like tips and disagreements, I think we always come back, or she may come back, and I've come back too. But I think I've seen it consistently. She comes back and she's thought about it, and sometimes it's not that she's changed anything, but we at least had a conversation where I could tell she reflected on what we talked about. And I think that goes a long way in feeling heard and understood, and like your feelings, and creating a space for someone hearing you out and you being able to convey what you want. So I appreciate that the most about her.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I agree. I do think that she does create that space. I've seen it, many times we spent together. So I love that about her too. So I want to lead into another question though.
This
kind of similarly related.
Okay. I handed the torch up. What question do you have?
I'm going to get an intro there. Go ahead. All right. What is the quality that makes her special? What makes her stand out?
I think when we first went out, we just had first couple of dates.
Okay.
We just had a good time, and in both scenarios, we went to like different places. So we went to Roots Southern Table.
Yeah.
During the week, gotta do the weekday dates. You can't be out all night. So we went to Roots Southern Table, and it was a good time. It didn't seem like she was on airs. It didn't seem like she was there to be fed. It seemed like she was vested in getting to know me, and so it was just a good time. To the point where we, even though it was, it was like it's getting late, we both have to work the next day. We both were kind of like, well, fuck it, we can go somewhere else. And we went to like a nearby bar in Addison that was still open and continue the conversation. The second time we went out, we went to a sushi house and had sushi. Then we went to Sandaga.
No, the spot.
Yeah. No, sorry. We went to sushi house, then went to Whiskey's and had a drink. Yeah. And then from Whiskey's went to Sandaga. And so I think there, Louisiana's were playing, so I looked them on there. She rolled me up a little bit. Yeah. But it was just fun. And
the rhythm.
And so I think that just how easy we got along, and it didn't seem like she was trying to like put on. Like, I feel like she was genuinely being herself. I don't think like she was hedging, trying to hedge like how the experience goes. And then from there, I just saw aspects about her that showed she wanted to be like a part of my life. Whether it was like, for example, I think I've tried to in different ways gauge how people would embrace my culture. Some ways have been very passive. Some ways have been more assertive. And I don't know that I thought about the time, because again, in the beginning, I didn't necessarily say this was about to be my wife or girlfriend. So I don't know that I had intentions about how I would do that with her. But there was a book that I think my mom gave me about the Igbo language. Okay. Like how to, like words and stuff like that. She saw it one day. Jury saw it. Yeah. And so she like took an interest in it. She was like looking at it. And that book is not like an easy book to like digest. And so because of that, I saw like on Instagram some girl that sells like these cards that are easier to like see words and stuff like that. And so I just bought them. And like in my head, I bought them like, oh, eventually we could like go over these. I think she saw them sitting on my counter. And she took them and started like practicing on her own. So I think things like that I think she just showed like a desire to be a part of my world. And I just appreciated that.
It must have been like an August.
Yeah, I think December. Yeah. Check his calendar, right?
After this, I'm gonna check my Amazon Prime, and then I'll put in the description what the delivery came.
What the delivery date was.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I want to take it back to you mentioned that it's not necessarily for your wife to be your best friend. Give us a little more on that.
I don't know that. but maybe you guys know I'm like real finicky when it comes to words. Yes. Newsflash. So when I think about my best friend, I don't know that we are at that stage where I would say she's my best friend.
Okay.
I think we will get there, but she's a very close friend of mine at this moment. But as a caveat, so y'all don't think I'm tripping, it took a long time to like, even with Brandon, like for me to tell myself like Brandon's one of my best friends, right? Even like it just took a long time for me to, in the ways that I think about that, to say that. And it's not like the word is the issue. I just don't like bullshit with those things. It has power, and that it also impacts how I show up for that. Now, like she might be my fiance, so like you can't say, well, she's your close friend, so you don't show up.
Right.
But I also want to make sure when I say it to myself, right, I know that in all the ways that means to me, I'm willing to show up, no questions asked.
So is that like the aspiration? Like that's the aspiration?
Oh yeah, we will get there. I don't know that I'm like, I'm waiting for her to become my best friend. I think, I only known the girl for less than 2 years.
Let me ask you like to that point, because I know that question has been one that you've asked about everybody that's come around. And I think, like I said, I ain't listened to every single episode.
Yeah,
most guys generally say that they're best friend. So for you, like, what is the distinction between the two? I mean, I think a lot of, for me, they're one and the same. Like, yes, she's my wife, so she's above you all, but she's also like my number one best friend at the same time. You know what I'm saying? True. So like for you,
I don't know in 2 years of knowing Jessica, you're like, this is my best friend. Or 3 years of knowing.
Yeah.
So like y'all have, I think sometimes, and there's no way to qualify this. I think sometimes when you're looking in retrospect, right, you don't know the timeline, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So I think me knowing something
Right.
I'm just saying your relationships is longer.
There's a level of confidentiality that you give to someone that even if you don't know you've given it to them, that person qualifies as your best friend just because of what you've given to them. And if that's how you define it, that's how you define it.
You use to describe best friend. Okay, that may not be. I haven't thought about it that much.
I was just asking, you know, as you kind of branch these two, and like you know that this is going to be somebody that's going to be your road dog.
Yeah, and it's not like
it probably already is.
Yeah, and it's not like I don't know that I'm hoping against it.
Fair. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, when I think about the level of relationship that I have as just a friend, take out fiance, like, who, you know. She's growing there, but it's only been 2 years. I give her time. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm in a perspective where it's like, and I've mentioned this kind of.
I knew Jomar was on Mary Bria for like 37 days.
It's
like 30 days on camera. I was like, yeah, they get married.
different.
It's like when you wake up in the morning, or like when you're thinking about that next trip, or you're thinking about experiencing some, you know, this new movie that's coming out. Who's the person you picture yourself being with, experiencing that with? Who's the person you want to?
I don't know that.
I don't know that.
Well, I hope not Paul or me. That'd be a little weird.
I don't know that.
Fantasy draft.
That'd be a little weird.
Think about it. It's by default. Like, there's not
hypothetical.
But at this point in my life with her and where we're at in our relationship, there's nothing that I'm gonna do and not think about where she fits in that. Like, but I don't think about that in the context of what kind of friend she is to me. She's my fiance. So like, there's not like when I think about my friend stuff, like, she's already above all that. So like, it's hard to say where does she stack in that when she's already the priority.
And so this isn't a question. I think this is all a conversation we're having, and I think this is the maturation of husbandry.
Yeah,
and we all kind of move through it. It's like, there are very few things that I do that aren't like work related, like carve out work that I'm doing out in the world that my wife is not the first person I think about. And obviously now I have kids, like, you know, sometimes, you know what I mean, you know, whatever. But, you know, like we go to a football game, very singular experience with a very specific group of people that to a degree the group of people expand our marriage.
I don't think she would want to go.
She don't even want to go, right? She don't even want to go. But like if I'm just like, you know, and I think you take a lot of strides in this space as well because you're very good at maintaining relationships. And it's like when you think about, hey, there's an all-white event or this restaurant that's doing XYZ, like you already inherently think about this as a couples event.
Yeah.
You don't think about it as a, hey, let's get the five
That's my point. Like, I can't think about her, like, for example.
Well, no, it's not that you can't. You could always.
I don't.
You choose.
No, but I don't think of, so my example, to your point, you are correct. My thing is, like, let's say, something related to golf, right? Right? It could be co-ed, and I'm not thinking about Jury first in that, right? Because that's not what she does, right? And that could be, or something that, like...
Oh, sorry, let me rephrase it.
But you factor her interest level into the analysis immediately.
I said what I meant wrong. Like, she's above, right? She's above all y'all.
Hope so.
Well, you said,
Ideally.
if I just said it, what you hoping for?
Ideally.
This is what it is.
Ideally.
You don't believe what I'm saying. Like I said,
I believe what you're saying. We're trying to pull more out of you.
She's above. You're like, well, I hope she's above. Like, okay, Dad.
Hey,
No, what I'm saying is,
gotta get my line in.
when you take,
highlight.
yeah, it's gonna be on the promo. Hope she is. But she's above. So when you're talking about context of friends, right? There's certain things like golf related where I may not think about B. Lou, right?
Yeah,
There's certain things with you where I may not think about Paul or just.
Right.
To me, like, she's above in a different tier.
You saw it. You caught it. You caught it.
But Joe, I ain't like, how many examples I had? He in his feelings right now. She's a whiny.
He thought about you on the boat.
Going to the ski shoot.
He took you on the boat.
When they say men aren't emotional, he left me out. He left me out. I don't feel included. No, go ahead. So yeah, in the context of friends, I don't even look at her in that manner because she's my fiance.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I maybe switch gears a little bit.
These boys stay trying to poke a hole for everything I say.
I did.
This episode is sponsored by Nello Effect, a coaching and consulting service that helps people turn mindfulness into action as they navigate the dating world as well as their relationships. Follow on Instagram at nello.effect and find more information in the episode description.
Right. Let's get to it. Do you think that you've changed in any way?
Of course, I'd be a fool to say I haven't changed.
In what ways?
I got that. Yeah, wait. Yeah, gain some.
She could be more specific.
Cooks well. She cooks well.
Right.
Throws down.
More specifically, what do you think her influence has brought to the table that has helped you to be a better man?
I just think you're more patient. I'm more patient. I think for her, it goes to the thing you already, why I started this. Like, because people say, I would never do this, and I wouldn't do that. And when you love someone, you don't know what you'd be willing to do. And I think my level of patience is different for her. My willingness to slow down, to explain. I think because you asked me before around, hey, what have you gotten out of these conversations? Because I know how critical communication is, I think I've over-indexed on trying to over-communicate with her. And even in that has been a journey because now I'm requesting the same thing of her, right? And then she'll be like, why I gotta tell you this? And I was like, because we have to build the habit of communicating. And so I think I'm empathetic to her needs. When she was moving in, there was a lot of different other transitions happening, and it just forced me to be more empathetic of some of these changes by nature of me being a little bit older, by nature of me having this opportunity to talk to people that are married. I kind of could see coming, so I expected, where it was just kind of hitting her like a paintball. She was getting beat up by all these different changing things, and so it made me more empathetic to, like, you tried to make me a boyfriend a long time ago. You didn't think all these things were gonna come with it. And so everybody's a move or have that understanding or the privilege of having friends that are there to talk about these things. And so it's made me more empathetic in ways as well.
What are you most looking forward to as you proceed into marriage? What most excites you about that process? Pow pow! Bang bang bang!
Can I ask you a question?
It's still American.
Leading up to engagement, so before we get to the marriage, getting the solid Africa. What was the biggest factor that held you up, or was there an idea or a challenge that maybe slowed you down or hindered you, or something you had to work through before you asked the question?
With her?
For her to marry. Because we was wearing.
Well, no. Besides well, let me put it this way. We haven't talked about I should probably talk to them before I got on here to see what was okay. Not okay to talk about. So I'll
Good
say,
thing this is your podcast.
yeah, no, I can't because I got a production group. we already have budget, so you know. I will say what I put in specific details. Then if we do this again, I'm happy to go in more. I think when you are meeting someone, you have a set of criteria that you was like make sure you check off the list, right? For whatever reason that is important to you. Some is just looks. I'm trying to think about something that may be not like superficial but important for whatever reason, right? And I think for a lot of people, when someone doesn't check that box, then you may look at them differently or with disappointment.
Cooking.
That was gonna happen. Listen, I went through all the ways of cooking.
These jokes.
That was one of the things. That's a box check.
The box is checked.
Okay, all right.
When she dressed, it's still something.
Right, but it ain't nothing, right? It matters. Okay, so let's talk. It counts.
That's not what Jomar.
Okay, gotcha.
But she does, and that's something we worked through because in the past I probably would have
Cut some short.
not cut it short, but I probably wouldn't have been as intentional with effort.
Yeah.
Right. My effort might have not been the same, and so it was one of the cases where I had to work through. I talked to y'all about it a little bit to just get like, am I tripping on this? Do I need to? And some of it I realized was just what I wanted, not that it mattered.
Fair. Yeah.
And so in that, I think it helped because there's a recognition that this is not that important in the grand scheme of things, but it was still something that like for culturally, just various reasons was important for me. And so that kind of helped because I knew like at the end of the day, it doesn't make that much to do for your marriage. But also, I have a therapist that I go to, and I don't go like because I think it's just a great.
Normalize it.
No, yeah, I go because not even to say proactive measures. I think it's just a great space for me and my therapist to talk about whatever may be top of mind in the moment. Right, you should move it. So I had a session already set up. I go like once a month or every other month, and that was an opportunity for me to talk to my therapist about how I'm feeling about the scenario, why I'm feeling the way, and get some thoughts around what she might be feeling in this situation that maybe she doesn't know how to articulate in a way that I understand.
So at this point in time, we do need to wrap things up.
We got
to wrap this thing
I
up.
don't have enough money to pay me.
I want to continue this conversation, but this ain't my budget.
Yeah, so let's wrap it up.
So let's go.
Wrap it up. That's where
You kind of already answered one of the first questions, so I'm just going to jump over that one.
Which one?
Which was, kind of why did you get engaged?
I'll reframe. I want to get married because I want to have children.
How do you reframe my question?
Because it's my show. But I want to get married. I want to get married because it's important to me to raise children in this type of environment of a family with a husband and wife. And culturally, it's like the thing to do. The same way I knew I was gonna go to college. It was about what college you were gonna go to.
You're going.
It's the same way I knew I was gonna marry somebody. It was just about who and when.
All right, and another wrap-up question. What were some of your biggest misconceptions about marriage/engagement?
I think I'm still learning that right now. I think I'm learning that
I'm not close.
It's a journey, and this is I think a good response that I'm learning. The way that I operate, and I keep alluding to Brandon's episode because I think a lot of things he said, we are similar in a lot of ways. We are like doers and achievers.
Yeah.
And we know how to accomplish stuff. And if you give us a problem or something that we want to accomplish, we will spend time figuring out the best way to do it for us and achieving that, right?
Right.
And I am learning that you can't like muscle your way, you can't outsmart your way, you can't like force your way to the progress you want to make with your wife in marriage. Right. And certain things are just going to take time for that person to grasp, digest, reflect on, and move. And so you really have to be patient. You can't just quit because they're not moving at your pace, right?
Yeah.
That different things are going to take different time periods, and if you're choosing that person consistently, it's part of the process.
One more as we wrap up. What does it mean to you to be the man of your relationship?
It means that I am the what do you call it? The last option. Like I'm the fail safe, and like we can't. Like, and it's pressure in the sense that there's pressure that I feel because if I fuck up, if I mess up, that's it. There's no option behind. I'm the last wall of defense for us. I have to make sure that the plan is as to the degree that it can be foolproof.
Yeah.
And whether that's the money that we're making or the security that we have, whether that's making sure we do certain things, I don't have the luxury of, well, it's good to know she has my back, but I don't bank on that. And so that's my role, make a sacrifice to make sure my fiance and my family in the future is good. And whatever that takes, that I have to be willing to do to make sure that happens.
Yeah.
And we'll wrap here. What advice would you give your brothers about dating?
My brothers?
Your brothers.
I don't answer that question. I'm gonna answer the question that's written. Is which one you want to do? Daughter?
No, we asked you a very specific question.
Daughter or son first?
We asked you what advice would you give your brothers about
But you
dating?
can take brothers and why.
No, but I want to answer those questions that I wrote.
But that's not how this episode works.
What I would tell my daughter.
That's not how this episode works.
Whenever I have a daughter, what I would tell my daughter when she's dating of age, I would tell her to know her worth, and I would tell her that she is she is valuable and she is worthy of things. But I know that I have breathed life into her. I know that, but the guy next to her doesn't know that, so she has to make sure she's doing what she needs to do in terms of how she represents herself to make sure that person knows that, so he can value her the same way. It doesn't come because I say it and because I know that the next person sees it. So in the same way that you shouldn't devalue yourself, you should also know that you have to demonstrate that for people so they see it as well. That's what I'll tell my daughter.
So as we wrap a second
So
time.
you want to tell my? Hold
on, real quick. So
I also want my daughter to come talk to us.
For the record, he did not answer the question.
So she can know.
So take because the question was intentional. But I also it wasn't.
It was your brothers. What advice would you give them?
Take brothers as a general term. It can be your brothers in Christ. It can be your brothers, your legitimate fraternity brothers. You can go wherever you want to. But there are people.
I'll answer your question.
There are people that are your age.
Yeah.
So you answer Paul's question, but you want to answer mine.
He had to mansplain.
You got some.
Okay. Shout out to the bread.
I get that. So what I'll tell fellas out there, what advice can I give them?
Sure. But I think
what advice would you give your brothers about dating? I didn't say biological. I said your brothers. So you are leaving the game. You've left the game. Okay. You've left the game. Provide. Right. You've left the game. Provide insight to those who are still playing.
Okay. I would just tell them, you set the course. Like the standards that you set, you set the course, and if you set the right course, not in a chauvinistic way, but a woman will see that and follow. And we have a responsibility to set that course in a way that elevates and honors the value that women bring to the table. And so actions matter. They should follow your words, and you have to stand on that in order, if you want someone to meet you where you at and to deliver in the way that you deserve to be treated in a relationship as well. All right.
Dun, dun, dun.
The music's gonna happen.
Thank you for joining us.
Hey people,
Chidozie Okafa.
They can't hear me on the podcast. Hey, if you enjoyed this,
check out the next episode.
This is not gonna happen again. Hey, if you enjoyed the podcast and this conversation, make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow on Instagram at Think Love Wife. Until next time, you know what it is. Hope the conversation keeps going.